remember they're changing my voice. The people in charge really need to meditate on Proverbs, because them suppressing my videos and making it so no one there is there to read scripture with me in a country with 380,000 churches, okay, and all attractive females should put me first. When you look at the logical characteristics of the ideal man, it is a catastrophic and unmatched governing class failure. And that testifies against them and their offspring and everyone who obeys them, and it's really bad. But anyway, so where were we here? I left off at the abomination. Okay. Okay, so it says that, that they too will drink the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. Okay. They will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb. This has to do with the exact direction and fate of those who cheated me out of my right to lead and their offspring. They cheated my right to lead and to have a planet which was worth having offspring in. So I don't have any offspring. And I don't want any, and I have to raise it myself, and it's over in my nice slice. Okay. Their disgrace before God becomes like a burning lake of sulfur, as God is said to be a consuming fire in Hebrews. Also, Zion in the spiritual realm is said to be his fire, and Jerusalem in the spiritual realm is his furnace. Okay, and they talk about pitch, blazing pitch, and thorns and briars and different things that they talk about will become sort of the ingredients, are the ingredients that they're preparing, Isaiah 30, for this lake of fire, okay, that they're going to be in forever in the spiritual realm, and there's evidence of it in the physical realm if you look carefully. And, I'm running out of time, so let's just keep going. You can explore in the comments if you have any questions about that. And the smoke of their torment will rise forever and ever. There will be no rest day or night for those who worship the beast and its image, or for anyone who receives the mark of its name. This calls for patience and endurance, a patient endurance on the part of the people of God who keep his commands and remain faithful to Jesus. Okay, again, so remember the first paragraph was about the mark of the horny devil beast, right? The second paragraph, and that was, first paragraph, Revelation 13 key parts. Second paragraph, Revelation 14 key parts, was about Babylon is the dominant spirit of all the nations, and all marriages but my parents' marriage. Okay, also adulteries and God's fury are connected. So we see the mark of the beast is perhaps first and foremost for those who have really simple minds, especially, it has to do with who's sleeping with who and why. All right, the pecking order, right? And how it plays out. Okay. So the third paragraph, Revelation 17, Babylon, the prostitute. You see, I put all these, should be on the screen, all the stars by the prostitute, okay, and on the beast. On the beast, okay. Babylon, the prostitute, called a prostitute for a reason. That's Revelation 17. Before, in Revelation 13, we see the mark of the beast. 14, we see that the prostitute, Babylon the Great, made all the nations drink the maddening wine of her adulteries. So here we are in Revelation 17. One of the seven angels who had seven bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters. The prostitute is the spirit of Babylon, who was the wife of Nimrod, as Nimrod is the true top martial artist, warrior spirit, and Babylon is the spirit of a city that marries it and natural women, and what becomes of them." Okay, so it's women naturally, and what becomes of these females who are supposed to date in a moral order with a moral scale, and they just pretend to, and they theater arts and psychology and social norms, and they're stupid compartmentalized. You're like, I only date satyr guys or surfer guys or only date corporate guys. They're pathetic, groupie, coward, slut scale. So what becomes of them, right? It says, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute, the spirit, the collective grouping, okay, of all who are in rebellion against God, who sits by many waters. The prostitute is the spirit of Babylon, who was the wife of Nimrod, as Nimrod is the true top martial artist warrior spirit, and Babylon is the spirit of a city that marries it and natural women, and what becomes of them. They were supposed to marry the spirit of God's top martial artist son, that Genesis 10 tells us was Nimrod and was before Abraham and above him. John the Baptist makes this clear when he says the righteous spirit that was before is above him, as he referred to Jesus. He said the one who's coming now he's saying, John the Baptist said that of Jesus, that Jesus was above John the Baptist because he was before him. And Jesus says, before Abraham I am. And before Abraham was Nimrod. So Nimrod, using John the Baptist's scale, is before Abraham, is above Abraham. And Revelation is in the New Testament, and the Christians were using John the Baptist's scale. Okay? And of course, Jesus said the kingdom of heaven will be taken away from you and given to a people who will perform his works. Okay? John the Baptist makes this clear when he says that the righteous spirit that was before is above him, and as he referred to Jesus, Exodus 3:14 says that God is the great I am. I believe it's 3:14. I might have the wrong scripture there. And Exodus 15:3 tells us that the Lord is a warrior, the Lord is his name. Okay, and of course, I've gone over this before in my videos. Nimrod was a mighty warrior, the first mighty warrior, the first hero, a mighty one before the Lord, a mighty hunter, a mighty warrior. Okay, so the Lord is like Nimrod, more like Nimrod than Abraham, because Abraham didn't pronounce himself as a warrior. That's why you see David and Goliath, right? David is a warrior king. He said the offspring of David. So what is the essence? He said the root. What is the root? The root that the Spirit came through, according to the story, was from God through Noah and so on and so forth, right? Through Nimrod, then at some point to Abraham, and then the kingdom of heaven is taken away according to the story and given back to people more like Nimrod, right? The love you had at first, right? The first love. Okay. All right. So, 2. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. Prostitutes is a play on words for pro, tit, us, set. They refer to body parts as well, like the Egyptians did, and mind, body, soul, and spirit is part of what shows that God chose me and not them, and they're immature and try to cover it up. So prostitutes, again, it's a scramble. It's an anagram. It says pro, tit, us, set. Okay, so again, prostitutes is an anagram for pro, tit, us, set. They refer to body parts as well, like the Egyptians did, and the mind, body, soul, and spirit is part of it. It's part of what shows that God chose me and not them, and they are immature and try to cover it up. Long story. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose and will give their power and authority to the beast. They will wage war against him. They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph because he's Lord of lords and King of kings, and with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers. Okay, it seems to be in just the spiritual realm. So of course, again, it says they cannot. I've been saying this for years. They've been crying. They've been acting like bitches. They've been cheating. They've been fuming. They've been having gays harass me. They've been crying. They've been whining. They've been screaming white supremacy like little babies. They've been shooting guns like, oh, why can't we naturally beat them? They've been acting like complete bitches. Well, what about a drone strike? They've been saying dumb fucking shit that misses the point. So again, I'll tell you, all you racist white Jews and LGBT people, all you foolish token minorities, you Freemasons, you arrogant governing class people, we're not talking about patty cake. We're not talking about shooting guns that a little kid can shoot and gun someone down. We're not talking about drone striking, whatever pedophile, sex cult, science forged weapons that you have. We're talking about something that's actually for a man. Ver in virtue means man. Okay? Just clarify that. Spirit. God is the Father. Key proof of my top martial arts challenge as well. Why did I triumph when they knew it had religious and social and other implications? Because I am Lord of lords and King of kings, and they are childish idolaters, using illusion, technology, poisons, fumes, and sabotage like cowards that never grew up. And the angel said to me, the waters you saw where the prostitute sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. Okay, so the beast, this monster, okay, this earth-formed abomination, this spirit, this combination of things, right? The horns are the kings, and it's influenced by Babylon, it's influenced by other worldly trash and ideas that corrupted the world. It's this mesh of things, this toxic combination. Okay, they will hate the whore. The inhabitants of the world will hate themselves. They will hate what they become. They will hate the source of what they become. And they will know for sure that they couldn't possibly be righteous, and there's no way out of it. So their own actions will have caused themselves to destroy their natural selves, which is what flesh means in this context, and to burn themselves with fire. So God basically set the stage. So if you don't do the right thing, that you burned yourself and your offspring anyway. For God has put it into their hearts. made it so you're not righteous, you're not worthwhile life form, zombie looking like they're burned, so on and so forth. For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over the beasts to their royal authority until God's words are fulfilled. Obviously, I don't mean that they become literal zombies, okay? Anyway, the woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. We see them doing a sort of mock ritual where they get females to be Lilith-like, Jezebel, gender-neutral, cult-like, slutty and more, church people pretending to be holy, corporate trash, social club filth, you get it. Revelation 18 tells people to come out of Babylon's rape by deception, psychological control, etc. system. After this, I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. A martial arts angle that anoints true martial art kings. I'm the last ever possible. So one way to look at this is a martial art force that comes down from heaven. With a mighty voice he shouted, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling for demons and a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable animal, for all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. They are the children of her reproductive cycles and not of righteousness. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich with her excessive luxury." So the things that God gave her to have, she was supposed to be beautiful inside and out, and they became trash, breeding with trash, what have you. Okay, and they try to, we're talking childish people that don't man up here, folks. We're talking bitch, okay? And they do things, even now they provoke me, and they're saying, they do things where they reference my family members to get a rise out of me. Okay, it's a long story why that is. It has to do with hacking and so on and so forth. Okay, warning to escape Babylon's judgment. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so you will not receive any of her plagues, for her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes." Okay, so it's saying come out of the system, out of your cultures, whether you're a rocker, a gangster, your ethnic cultures, your national cultures, your religions. Okay, it says come out of everything like that and come into moral precision.